What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. Nadeska, Akademiks, and Wayno here. We've had a very, very long week off. Everyone's super excited to be back, well rested. Wayno's got his knees out. Acts energetic this morning. How you guys feeling?
Wayno's going through a transition phase. Wayno about to announce that he's now a Clippers fan. He said, "Fuck the Lakers."
A Clippers fan?
Yeah,
Are you out of your mind?
Bandwagon.
We have AD and Boogie Cousins. Well, I need the Clippers. Are you kidding me?
Right. How y'all little week off been?
Little week.
I know y'all been traveling.
Yeah, I was out here, man.
That's what showed me her freaking flyer miles one day. I had
disgusting.
It was disgusting, bro.
Trying to get these free upgrades all day.
If y'all see her in a plane, trust me, she's either flying this shit or first class. Trust me.
Oh man, but I went to Atlantic City for a few days. Shout out to everybody I met at Atlantic City that said that they watched the show.
Okay.
A few people, they said to tell y'all all what up.
You also say you went to was it Memphis?
Yeah, I was in Memphis.
How was that?
Too. Memphis was amazing. I ain't gonna lie. Memphis
I gotta
was
go
amazing.
down to Memphis.
Their music scene is crazy. Yo Gotti runs that shit. I went to Birthday Bash. I watched them perform for like 2.5 hours. Everybody knew every single word. It was amazing.
That's
it was
dope.
really dope.
Never been there.
Is it like a different, like culturally? Like, you know, Atlanta has their own vibe. Nigga, I haven't been there. How are you laughing for? You well traveled. I'm trying to get there.
Now, the thing about Memphis is like, you know what's crazy? Like, you know in New York, you just used to everything being accessible. Like, I had to walk like 7 blocks to buy a charger for my phone. Like, it was insane. Like, nothing's like really accessible. It's like, there's no like stores downtown. There's no buildings. This shit is weird. But I had fun though. It was dope.
You went nowhere?
Who's just chilling on Twitter?
Just chilling on Twitter, beefing with people randomly?
I ain't beefing. I'm just chilling.
Just chilling?
I was trying to stay away from these earthquakes, man. The earthquake been going crazy. I'm trying to stay on the East Coast. I don't know what's going on in the West. That's all I got to say. But what's up with the music, though?
Let's see. Dreamville finally dropped, you guys. It happened. Revenge of the Dreamers 3. So we got this Friday, July 5th. We had a lot of over-unders trying to estimate when this would come, how it's doing with sales. Now we have all of our answers. So of course the whole gang is on here. Cole Boss, Cause, Omen, J.I.D, Earth Gang, Ari, and we got some dope features too. Vince Staples, The Baby, Young Nudie, T.I, Buddy. Kendrick also showed up on Under the Sun, uncredited, which was a nice little surprise. Pretty dope project. Ak, what did you think?
What are you asking me for?
I want to know.
Because you're a new Dreamville fan, so you know, I want to hear your thoughts.
I got introduced to some of these niggas on this record, this like album.
You met Johnny Venus already.
Kaz nigga, like he actually surprised me. For all these songs, I had stand up. I didn't know who the hell he was. I'm keeping it real.
Right.
Like I knew it was Boss,
Yes. Yeah.
J.I.D, and Earth Gang, right? And Ari, that's my new favorite. I ain't gonna lie. But the other niggas I didn't even know. Anyway, yeah, so I had standout moments from I picked out standout moments and see who was the artist, and Kaz came up a couple times like on some of the songs I was listening to, but overall, I actually like it. Like for an album where, again, I wasn't fully up on all the artists prior to going into it, and also, even with the perception of just like Dreamville or even like Cole or whatever, I thought it was a pretty exciting album from front to back. I'm not even gonna lie. Pretty dope songs. I'm gonna go through it real quick. So it starts off, I'm glad they, from the Carolinas, they put, not Lil Baby, Da Baby, incorporated him into the mix with that. I really like that song, Under the Sun. Down Bad, we already talked about on the show, like, that's a song where they're all trained versus great J.I.D showed out on that. Lambo Truck, that's where Kaz really like shined for me. I was like, oh, this nigga's like, he's snapping. He also, I like how he was rapping about, I think he was rapping about how TD's treating like Reason and kind of comparing it to his situation. I thought that was a dope way to kind of envision what's going on and where he's at in his career. The Swivel track, I like that too. What else did I like? I like the joint with T.I, which is the Ladies. I like Sleep Deprived, Costa Rica. I was interested to hear that joint because it kind of combines what you think of Dreamville plus the other niggas. Like, what I mean, other niggas like
Smoke Purpose on there.
Smoke Purpose on there, and they kind of, I wanted to hear that just seeing it on paper, what that would sound like, getting all of them on the track, and I thought it kind of came out good. I don't think no one compromised their sound because they were on the track with someone else, and that's usually rare.
Yeah.
Other than that, which one? Cole had a crazy verse on one of these joints. I forgot which one it was. But overall, I'm giving this a pretty good project in terms of a compilation.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I don't really have nothing to dispute that. I think that this shit is like everything we thought it was gonna be, right? Like what we seen from the sessions, especially with the documentaries. Like they really great at telling stories and how they put everything together. The baby. You know what I mean? Like it's just good to see that Cole is reaching out to the other Carolinas and Charlotte, and et cetera. The only person I wasn't really up on this album was Luke. I didn't really know too much about Luke. I guess he might be a new sign into them. Lambo Truck is my favorite joint over there. The shit where they talking about robbing Cole and robbing Top Dog and PTSD. And the joint with J.I.D. and T.I. J.I.D. showed his ass on this joint.
Yeah.
Like I ain't gonna front, he showed his ass. Like he definitely got to drop his album after this. You know what I mean? But like this is exactly where you want rap to be. I don't want to hear nobody complain about rap right now. Like, you know, people like, what's the state of hip hop and all? The state of hip hop is very, very good. Like, as much as you have like all the stuff that you could complain about, you have tons to not complain about.
Yeah.
And I think that Dreamville accomplished that shit with this.
Yeah, it's a dope project. And it was nice to hear them work with other people. I like Buddy on this project. I think like him with J.I.D. is like, a lot of fun. Smino was on here, Saba, like some really dope collaborations. It's cool to hear them step outside of their box and have a lot of fun. So I'm excited to spend more time with this project. It's only been a few days. Yeah. We could circle back to some favorites. And I forgot which one of you said it. Middle Child definitely ended up on this project, which made a lot of sense. So actually, no, we have a fan question real quick. This is from Rigo. I'm not sure.
Rigolo Zanolas?
I don't know.
Rigolo Zanolas.
The question is, hey, Nadeska and Wayno, can't wait to hear your thoughts on the Dreamville album. Who do you think stole the show on Revenge of the Dreamers 3? Personally, I think J.I.D. outdid everyone.
I think he did too, but I think the sleeper on here out of everybody is Omen. I think Omen is a good sleeper on there. And then I like Earth Gang. Like the Earth Gang, I didn't know how wide, and I listened to like the EP that they dropped last year, but I didn't know how wide range they were.
Yeah, what's the track Sacrifices? Johnny Venus on that, he kills that.
Like yeah, they're very, very dope. I think that like it's just gonna change this album is gonna change the perception of Dreamville with everybody talking about that sleep music and all of that. Like if we talking in terms of like teams and shit, who's outdoing them this year? Nobody. And like J. Cole is probably as of right now MVP of the year. Like for real.
Overwhelmingly MVP of the year. Yeah, I agree with the fan who actually asked the question. I believe J.I.D. really outdid himself on this joint, and to keep it, I think it sets up whatever he got going on. I feel like this was largely in part to set up just a project by him, or like really a big look, because I mean already, given what I've heard, I was kind of like, yo, this nigga he's kind of killing it. And then you hear him on this project and you're like, all right, it feels like he's next up. So I agree with him on this. I won't say stole the show because there's so many great moments by so many different artists. And to keep it real, I don't think he'll get the credit, but shit, I thought Cole came crazy on every joint he was on this project. But for the people who didn't have that name recognition yet, I would definitely say J.I.D. definitely positioned himself to be next up.
First couple times hearing J.I.D. Not on this, but like last year, I wasn't as big on him as I am now. Like, yo, he could fucking really rap. Like, he's really dope.
Well, yeah, if you guys haven't heard DiCaprio 2, go check that out. It's a great album. That one came out last year, and I'm sure we're gonna get more from him and a few other people on the label soon. It's a great time to be a Dreamville fan, man. It's exciting. The haters have finally come around.
Nadeska just went back to Dreamville. Y'all think it seems like a motherfucker, man.
When have I ever switched teams? Now you're just bullshitting.
Nadeska was switching teams from Dreamville to TDE. Now she back home to call. Like, come on.
That's never happened, but whatever, Akademiks. Anyway, some petty things that happened while we were off. So last week, 50 uploaded a photo of himself with a caption that read, "Some people are not built to make it. Their habits and instincts will pull them right back to the struggle. You put them on, they fuck up the package." Of course, people started speculating that he was taking shots at G-Unit, and shortly afterwards, he did confirm this in a now deleted Instagram post. He said, "Do you realize G-Unit only did 5 shows together without me? In 16 years, every time you saw them together, it was my show." Now, that's a big bag. They fucked up. You know, a fan responded to him saying, you know, like Banks would have went far. 50 didn't really agree with him.
You said that Banks would have went far?
Yeah, a fan said Banks would have went far in the game. And 50 said, like, you don't know him, et cetera, et cetera.
Shit, Banks did go far. Like, when Banks first came out, that nigga sold the same amount of records the first week as Kanye on College Dropout. Like, they both sold like 400-something thousand the first week. Like, I think the thing with G-Unit is, like, 50 set up a lot of shit for them. And they didn't, and you see that with a lot of crews from, like, the early 2000s. He set up a lot of shit that I think they couldn't handle. Like, that's a lot, you know what I mean? That's a lot for so much that happened for them so fast. Like, they didn't have the same grind that he had. You know what I mean? I say like Banks and Yayo did, but everybody else didn't have the same exact grind that he had. And once that shit went for him, he made sure it went for everybody else, and they didn't carry the torch or the flag or however you want to put that shit.
50's usually right in these situations. He just comes across like an asshole. Like, you know, obviously 50's career has transcended much more than music, and like he's a mogul still at this point. But yeah, he right. Like, let's keep it honest. Like, you got to start holding people accountable for shit like that. Like, I do think a lot of them niggas in G-Unit are lazy. And that's basically what he's saying. Like, we've heard that about Banks a lot of times, right? We've heard again, and maybe we just haven't, again, that's maybe to Banks' detriment. Maybe he hasn't told his story, what he's going through personally, and why other reasons, why he hasn't been out there and kind of like, you get a nigga the ball, lay it up, go ahead. You can only do that only so many times, and for whatever reason, Banks has not. Like, I've seen, if Banks had like the drive of like Jim Jones, he'd be like still like huge in the game.
Yeah, but I mean, before he was even like, before we knew him as Lloyd Banks, he was known as Lazy Lloyd. Like, I think he got a tattoo that says Lazy Lloyd. For real, like he always was like that. But I think that it just too much was set up for these niggas. Like, it was too much shit put in place where they didn't have to do much. And then once like 50 stopped doing it, it just was, you know. And I'm not gonna say Banks didn't work though, because to me, Hunger for More might be a classic album. You know what I mean? I fuck with Hunger for More. It's like the 15-year anniversary, I think, this week. Like, Hunger for More was a dope album. And Banks did put in a lot of work. But I think as far as him being an artist, there's a difference between being a rapper and being an artist. He's a great rapper, but he didn't transpire into being a great artist. Like,
but also, even beyond a great artist, great businessman, at least how it relates to music. Like, you could even see like someone like J.I.D, who, you know, the verdict is still out on like, or the jury's out, whatever they're saying this. I don't know, I fucked it up. Anyway, on like how long his music will last or how good it is, whatever you might say. But you know, like, he does really great music and he leverages he does really great business and he leverages his music with that. You know, I always heard 50 tell stories about like, yo, I got all these niggas, these huge contracts for Reebok, and these niggas don't wear the shoes.
Yeah.
There was no drive in terms of hustling, which was so funny. I'm listening to these niggas' album, all they rap about is hustling.
But I mean,
when it came to music, it didn't feel like they were hustling music.
Well, I mean, every rapper not gonna be a businessman. Like, every rapper is not gonna want to invest their money into all types of shit. And, like, that's not for everybody. Like, everybody can't be a boss.
Well, beyond that is like opportunities that come within music, right? Like, again, while you don't have to always be on the forefront dropping music all the time, the opportunity that being in music or being a rapper presents, you could do mad shit. You get me? It doesn't have to be business really on some, you're investing on some tech shit or some other shit that's not related, but still be within the realm of entertainment. It felt like them niggas just, I don't know.
Okay. So then do we think it's what 50 said, it all comes down to your habits and instincts? Because this takes us perfectly into this next topic. So this week we're collabing with FX on a new segment called the Come Up, Stay Up. So we want to highlight rappers like 50 who have successfully ventured into other businesses outside of their solo music careers. So that includes real estate, sports agencies, film, food and liquor, and of course, you know, founding other labels, etc. So we know 50 had an amazing run in the 2000s. Then he began to build this crazy empire. So he launched the G-Unit label. He invested in Vitamin Water, which was huge for him. So that was 2004. A few years later, he sold his stake, which was worth $100 million in it. He invested in Effin' Vodka, and of course, he went on to do TV and film. Super successful outside of just solo. So you think it really comes down to just like your habits? Habits are very important.
It does come down to your habits, but I think it's also about like what you want to accomplish. Like, you know, for every 20 artists, we get 1 or 2 of these type of artists that want to do shit like that. Like, everybody's not built to understand or like learn how to activate doing stuff like that. Just because you have the money and you make money. I think that the biggest problem that with artists is that they don't adapt. So it's like when times come, like if you're an artist that can adapt, look at Method Man. Like, Method Man has been of course, he started rapping. I mean, he came out as a rapper like in '93, but he ended up getting into film and television and all of that. And I mean, he still can put out music from time to time to satisfy his core fan base, but he's transitioned throughout his whole career. A lot of these artists can't transition, but it does play into some of your habits and shit.
I believe comfort is like the cousin of like complacency. And once you get on, you don't really have to do much other shit than just maintain where you're at, and you'll still maintain whatever lifestyle that you're now accustomed to, which usually is far different from where you came from. So I look at people like 50 more than like just business acumen and stuff like that, because to be honest, like even if you look how he acts, and I won't say necessarily in like business, like investments and stuff like that, but stuff that's cost him money, certain dumb stuff he's even done. Like, you know, he's been sued a bunch of times for some stuff, which are just petty. I don't even put all of that on 50's business acumen, the reason why he's done so much. I put it on really just 50 has that inner drive of not being complacent, to know that you were the guy. He always want to be the guy. So whether if it's not music, where he's like dominating the space, he want to dominate with liquor, he want to with beverages or something like that. He want to do it with TV and film. He always wants to be a factor in whatever sphere he's in, and that's why I really kind of credit him on, you know, having that drive to like find out, like you run into a wall here with music where people might not be feeling you, you pivot, you go somewhere else. So that's really why I think.
When you're someone like 50, is it too much? Like, you think his expectations are just too high for the people around him? So there's other people like Ross, for example. Of course, he founded MMG, so he's put a lot of talent on. He supported people like Meek, who's like having his own business success now. Then he went on to like buy Wingstop. So I think he bought the first one in 2011. By 2014, he had 9, and now he reportedly has about 25 of them. In 2017, he bought a Checkers franchise. So he's definitely like boosted his team. I think like it's varying levels of success for the people around you. But yeah, are your expectations sometimes too high for those people?
I think sometimes like you can't expect you out of other people. You know what I mean? So like your drive and where you want to go is like, you can't put that on somebody else. Like you might have all these different things. You ever had a conversation with one of your friends and you talking about all this amazing shit and they like, oh, okay. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they don't, some of your friends might not have the same type of mindset as you. So I think like that's all, you can't expect that how your passion is for somebody to have your same passion. Like it just don't work like that, you know? But like with Ross, I mean, the thing is like when you look at music, right? You look at music and it always changes. The only way you really make, not only way, but the main way you make money off of music is like touring and shows and shit. So you don't always want to be on the road away from your family or always traveling, always performing. So you got to find ways to make sustainable money, you know, especially with stuff that you like to do. You do make money a lot of different ways. Like
that's true. So then you can only drop music when you're feeling inspired, right? There's no pressure.
Yeah, I think Ross he did a great job of, you know, sometimes people, of course, all right, now you got this fame through music. People will then do some things to get like other ventures, and it just kind of look corny, forced, or just kind of look like they're reaching or trying to get something else that's not organic. Like everything Ross does, for the most part,
it's food.
It's no. Well, not only that, but it feels like the lifestyle of Ross. You feel me? It feels like he's been promoting on through his music the biggest boss lifestyle. Like whether it is from even the champagne, like it makes you feel like how much a champagne costs, but it makes you feel like you got that in your hand, you're the boss. You feel me? So, like that, along with all his food ventures, which I just thought that was just natural because niggas was getting on that nigga, right? Like why not just make some money from it? I think he's done a great job venturing outside of music, but even in music, I've always just commended him for being, like, niggas like him and Khaled, great self-promoters. Mm-hmm. Like, they could self-promote all day. You could talk to them and you wouldn't realize that they're only self-promoting because it's so entertaining, but he's the one who really channels that into propping up his artists and also helping them build their brand. And also, you know, kind of falling back a little bit, which not all artists could do. You know what I mean? A lot of artists, like, well, shit, if you having a shine, I'm having a shine. You feel me? Your album dropping, we dropping, nigga. You get me?
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Everybody ain't like that.
Yeah. Well, everyone has their own path, right? So Nas hasn't really, like, he didn't do the, not putting on artists on the level that Ross did, but of course, so he bought Mass Appeal, he launched a like record label to go with it, and then he also launched a venture capital firm, which is pretty dope. So he's invested in Lyft, Dropbox, Robinhood, etc. So he's getting like good tech money, and then he's also an investor in like Sweet Chick restaurants, which I think might still only be in New York, but they're really great. I'm a big fan of them. Are they
in LA?
LA now?
Yeah, they got one in LA right on Fairfax.
That's dope.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, not, even with Nas, it's like, you know,
that shit's fire.
what?
The Sweet Chick.
Oh, you've actually been?
Yeah.
So impressive.
I didn't know actually.
I ain't gonna lie.
Anywhere.
He came back with a fresh manicure too.
Oh,
The Akademiks rebrand.
Wait, hold on. Yo, I gotta just tell the listeners, if y'all haven't experienced, Wayno been getting his toes done since he's a kid. Listen, I went and got a mani and pedi, changed my life. No cap.
What, for the first time?
Yeah, I got 2 of them since then. No cap.
2? When?
No, it wasn't over the last week. It was like a month. You late noticing. My shit looking all nice. I bite my nails usually. I'm like Steve Nash, but now, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Also, I realized that's the #1 place to bag chicks. Cause I went to the same place twice. The Chinese lady said, "You gotta be single." I said, "Huh?" She was like, "Yeah, all the single dudes come in the bag chicks." Anyway, that's like.
Yeah, well, like what you said, talking
part
about
of the rebrand and the future
shit, right?
of Akademiks, investing in venture capital firms. And we've spoken about Drake, how, of course, he's mega successful as an artist. But we talked a little bit about our projections for him in the future, right? So, of course, he launched OVO Sound a few years ago, then OVO Clothing and OVO Fest. In 2016, he got into the alcohol business. He's one of the co-founders of Virginia Black Whiskey, and we see big things for him, right? Next big entrepreneur in rap.
Absolutely. I mean, now he's the person that is like, he has access to so much. I don't see him not being like a big business mogul. Like, it's like he's just around like all the best shit. You know what I mean? I think that when you at the top, it just comes to you. Like a lot of it just comes to you. But just when you look at, we ain't even mentioning like all the stuff he does with like with the Toronto Raptors. Like, you know what I mean? Like. For him to have built the athletic center for them to play at, I don't even know what that deal entails, but I know it's a lot of money, you know, dealing with an NBA team that they put their teams through your center. His OVO also designs, like, they have their own court night. He has a club in the center and all that. Like, yeah, he's definitely gonna be up there as far as like
the practice jersey, like he has the fucking owl on the shit.
Yeah, but the black and gold shit is the one that they designed.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen. He's set up to be in that position. We'll see what happens. Because I think most of the stuff now, with him though, he's not really reaching. He loves basketball. He stays around that realm in terms of like co-branding and doing a lot of stuff. We'll see what happens outside of that though.
Think you become a co-owner one day?
Absolutely.
That'd be the next mega move. But it's gonna take a while.
If they are smart, they will not let that nigga become a co-owner. You better tell that nigga stay in the skybox. He'd be on the court. He'd be refereeing the games at that point.
He already does. What the fuck is that dude?
This nigga's he's a global ambassador giving niggas massages, right?
He'd be a co-owner one day, or be a part owner or something like.
Yeah.
He definitely would. I mean, he has. When you see what they like, what Brooklyn did with Jay and shit, right? Like for Drake's influence over the entire Canada, like you think he wouldn't be a co-owner?
No, I'm not. No. Of course, I think he would definitely be like, you know, they consider people. So it's not about just having the money. They consider people to see if you would rep
first
even
in
the
line.
NBA, right? I think you'd be a good fit. Also, to keep it real, look at what, with the recent, like, you know, Kawhi Leonard, them trying to get him to come back to Toronto. Part of, like, the convincing was, hey, we're going to incorporate you into OVO.
What the fuck? You don't give a fuck about
again,
that.
just to think of that. Imagine someone coming to the Nets or a player coming to the Nets, Katie, who went to the Nets, right? Like, apparently, just imagine that Jay-Z was like, yo, we're gonna like get your mans on Rock Nation. Like, it sounds crazy because you're combining 2 different genres of entertainment, really.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi Leonard don't give a fuck about none of that. That's why he left. I mean, he won a championship and leave. He's a legend just for that.
Well, to wrap this one up, just a quick side note. Meek Mill just recently became a co-owner in Lid Sports Apparel. That's good for him. He's making some moves right now, right? Putting out great music, owning some businesses now.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, once he gets this whole legal thing behind him, we can see what more he can do. I think like that's also been like a black cloud over his head as to like being able to venture out and do more things. So, like, I mean, the Lid shit, that's big. But he's friends with Mike Rubin and fucking Robert Kraft and all of them. Of course, he's gonna get that game on how to become a billionaire. You know, so that's dope.
That's dope. All right, so we got a
Big
couple.
move.
We got a couple more of these segments coming up this week. All right, guys, it's been a whole week since a Lil Nas X update here on Everyday Struggle, so here we are. So June was Pride Month, and on the last day of Pride Month, he pointed fans towards a rainbow flag on his 7 EP artwork saying, quote, "Deadass, I thought I made it obvious." So this was after he highlighted some lyrics on his song called Closure, saying some of y'all already know, some of y'all don't care, some of y'all not gonna fuck with me no more. He basically came out and said that he was gay. He confirmed this in an interview with the BBC.
Gay or bi?
And said that he had nothing to hide, and basically goes on to say homosexuality is, quote, not really accepted in either the country or hip-hop communities, but that he hoped that he was helping to open doors for other people. As Wayno pointed out, he was a good sport with it. You know how the internet is. Some people are going to support, some people are going to have jokes. He was retweeting the jokes, leaning into the bullshit.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's doing just fine. Old Town Road is like the longest running #1 hip-hop song of all time, which is crazy. Anyway.
But
Speaking of our Makona conversation,
right.
Do you guys think this is going to affect his career?
No, but the thing about it is, like, now Old Town Road is the longest hip-hop song. I thought it was a country song. No, seriously, like, I thought it was just only a country
song. But did they ever
song.
officially give it to him as country, or did we just argue about it and it didn't happen?
No, he was the one campaigning for that shit to be a country song. So now it's the hip-hop song. He finessing. But I don't think it's going to bother him. Fuck no. Cause he got a smash hit record, and that's the thing that Makona didn't have anymore. No more smash hit records. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a bunch of dudes that's, you know, dealing with their battles within their sexuality, etc. If he wanted to let people know, fine, but I don't think it makes a difference for him. Like, I don't think it makes a difference for him. Now, if Lil Nas X was talking some gangster shit and all of that, then they would have probably been trying to fry him on the next level. But it's not gonna bother him. I think it helps him.
Yeah, one fan asked if it will boost his career even more.
Honestly, I think it is gonna affect his career. To be honest.
In what way?
In what way? Beyond the hype of Old Town Road, like, you're not gonna see any effect when he has a #1 song. He could come out and just say, I just murdered 15 people. Nobody cares. It's a #1 song. You get me? But after that dies down and everybody goes up here and comes back down here. And that's what so my critique was about his EP. Remember I said reaching the core, doing all that? Because when that dies down and, like, everybody stops saying Lil Nas X, you then need a core. And then you're gonna see things like that come across where people don't wanna really give your music a shot. And again, we're not talking about your smash. Your smash shit's already gone. They're gonna, if we could be ignorant and naive and act like Makona, when we found out Makona was gay, that song was long off the charts. It wasn't at the prime when it's dominating with Drake on it. No, the nigga was dropped off OVO, kicked out, like, basically couldn't even get a studio session.
When was that? That was like 5 years ago, right? 4 or 5 years ago.
And again, it made people think about him very differently. You get me?
I mean, but he was coming from, all right, so look, I don't agree with that. And the only reason why is because he was coming from that whole new Atlanta wave. Like, remember, he was on, like, one of them documentaries. I think that because of the people he was around, like, all the new wave Atlanta artists who they weren't anything like him, right? And a lot of them stopped supporting him. But as far as Lil Nas X, he came out by himself, like, as far as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, he came out by himself. He wasn't grouped in with a bunch of other dudes that he's doing music with. So I think that he's responsible for his own success. I mean, he has a hit record with Billy Ray Cyrus and all that shit, but it's because of him. It's not because he was coming from this whole trap wave and none of that shit. So I don't think it's gonna affect him at all.
Niggas with Makona.
You didn't see that documentary on Vice?
I mean, yeah, I did, but, like, at the time when the record's popping, I didn't know about none of them niggas.
Stop it. He was there. He was with Father and all them other niggas that was popping.
But that's not the reason why that record popped.
It's not. I'm just saying that you talking about in terms of support.
Yeah, the masses who fucks with him, and I get it. I guess you're saying, like, if he was gonna have a core, that would have affected it because the people who he came out with. I get all that. I just feel like, you know, we're seeing, like, you know, of course, a lot of support, or outpour of support for him on social media. Like, clearly he's playing into it, which I think that's shit. You gotta troll the trolls. Fuck it. You feel me? So I like that he's doing that, but I'm not gonna sit here and be naive enough to go and say hip hop is so far advanced that Makona, he's bitching every day in, like, magazines about his struggles in hip hop.
Yeah.
That hip hop is that much advanced that Lil Nas X now we're all gonna embrace.
Oh, no, I don't think it's about hip hop being advanced.
No.
I just think that it's kind of hard trying to figure out what Lil Nas X is as far as an artist,
Right.
because he came out.
He has a lot of crossover appeal.
Exactly.
It's
So
like
it's
he's
like
not coming out of the scene where he has this
that's-
like image and reputation to uphold.
That's
right?
where I think he has to stay though.
yeah. Well, I mean, what
Where
you
would
think
he
he's
wanna
gonna
go?
fucking start making
I'm
records
judging-
with Chief Keef tomorrow?
No,
Like-
not records with Chief Keef, but I'm looking at when he had. By the way, this new tape he dropped. Let's not act like this is like his old music. Again,
It's
when
not.
we did find his old music, he was making hip hop.
It was.
And if he continued and was saying, hey, listen, other than Old Town Road, which I could make a strong argument that's a parody, but other than Old Town Road, hey, I make pretty much kind of generic hip hop like what y'all already like, right? If he continued to make that, where he would have to be accepted into hip hop, yes, his sexuality would be a thing. Is it right? No, but that would affect him. Now he's operating in this space. My only critique is that he has to find, when you're crossover, a lot of times you don't find a base. Because one song is liked by these people, another's like, so sometimes it's hard to find a base. If he has to fall on the backbone, or if his fallback plan is making hip hop, this is gonna come up. If not,
Well, yeah,
he
but-
could live in a space that, who the fuck, Billie Eilish and them people live in? I don't know.
We
Put
not,
some
but
respect on Billy's
we're not
name,
even
man.
debating
never
if
listened to
he,
it.
we're
She's
not even
really
debating
good.
if he's hip hop or not, because it's like, I don't think that he's not, to me, he's not a rap artist to me. Like, he's not a rap artist. I don't know what box to put him in, but you only further like saying the point I was trying to make is like, I think his core fan base is just making hits. Like, he has to just continuously make, and it's probably not going to be another Old Town Road, but as long as he makes hit records, he'll be fine. Like, the nigga's not, of course, if they try to put him on a BET cypher, that's a whole different animal. But as far as like, all he has to do is make hit records, he'd be fine. Like,
But I think what you're doing is, what you're saying, you're countering your own point. Like,
What?
if you're saying his core fan base just wants hits. That's like the
that's what everybody wants.
No, but that's usually the opposite of what the core is for. Your core isn't just only for you to get hits. That's for the those are for the fringe. Your core is there with you when you're not having no hits.
Yeah, but I mean,
You feel me?
like it's too early for us to even see if him make a core, because he has such a fucking massive hit out the gate. So it's like I can't say like he doesn't have a core building already, especially if he came out and said that he's gay. I'm pretty sure that it's a lot of kids that's gonna support him strictly for that, and they like his music as well. So I'm just saying, it's too early to call, oh, maybe 4 or 5 years down the line when his shit dies down. Like, that could happen for anybody.
Right.
I agree with that, but also in the same breath, right? McConan, we could say the same thing for him.
McConan ain't have no motherfucking
But that's what I'm
Old
saying.
Town Road, dog.
Well, I ain't gonna
Tuesday was not no Old Town
His
Road.
No,
level
I'm not
of
saying it was
success
Old
was
Town Road.
never
I'm not
nearly-
saying it's Old Town Road, but
And he had Drake on it.
listen, let's keep it real.
This
I'm
song-
laughing at number one,
yeah.
but like, we've seen number one records.
All right, fair enough. But McConan was never on this.
Like,
That was not. All right, let's give him. I want to say man, but he's so young. He's like a child still. Just give him some time. I would say that
Let's give him a year.
the music industry is suffocating. The fact that he's like brave enough to be himself, like applause to this kid. Let him
and
rock.
people like him and McConan, they do, they're taking arrows for people down the line 15, 20 years from now.
And he's also handling it with more grace, and he's having fun. He doesn't sound like bitter
Yeah,
and
he
angry
ain't
about
weird.
things.
He don't
You know,
seem
like
too
let
weird.
him. Yeah, he's
he
having
didn't
a
do
good
the shit
time.
and then
Yeah.
go into a
Right.
fucking cave and hide away from everybody.
He's
well, you
having
gotta
fun.
realize he's a born natural troll. He used to be a Nicki Minaj
And that's
stan.
amazing.
Those are
It's
the
working on
worst
his
people
behalf.
online. They run Twitter.
Okay.
I have no
Nicki
comment
Minaj
on anything
stands,
about that
Alright,
fan
man.
base.
Beyonce stands. They
I have
run
no
Twitter.
comment about that fan base.
And Shea Butter Twitter. Go ahead.
All right, so Megan Thee Stallion dropped her project Fever a few months ago, and she's been doing a lot of press. Go check out my interview with her on Apple Music. She's a really good sport. I feel like she's easy to talk to. She's a lot of fun. She'll rap if you ask her to rap, but Tim Westwood took it too far. Take a look.
Your hair looks amazing.
Thank you.
Wig or weave?
Not your business.
Oh, for real? Are you serious? Are you serious?
You did
What's
not
that?
ask ladies
what's
what
that
they got
about-
going on.
What the fuck? I don't know what was he thinking here. Too far, or only women are irritated by this?
Listen, I tell you this, man. You got to be very careful with black women and their hair. That's first and foremost. You have
Wayno
to be
knows.
very careful with black women
What
and
are you
their
rolling
hair.
your eyes about?
But I mean, like, I don't know. I like to just keep the shit music. Why the fuck is you asking her about her hair? Hey,
Chopping up in an interview, Wayne.
Chopping it up, but like
her
we
music ain't that
win.
good for us to talk about the whole time. Relax. Listen.
It wasn't. I don't think it was disrespectful, but I just like.
What would it
Just
have
keep the
mattered if
music,
she had
keep the
answered
music.
it? What would he have
No.
said? What does Tim
Question
Westwood
out-
know about wigs or
Qu-
what the fuck?
There's a point. That's it. Question out of line with Tim Westwood, you're white.
Yeah.
Okay? Leave black people here alone. That's facts. Black people and hair, there's a long history.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
Tell him, Mac.
There's a long history when it comes to hair of black folks, and we're gonna find a little condescending or offensive when white people are asking us about it, okay? Now, if this is a black person asking, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Because if it was Wayno, he would have actually, like, if she answered the
would've
question, he
known.
would
I
have
would've
asked different
known.
types of hair. It would have been
I
different.
paid for so much hair, I would know.
Yeah.
I'm ignorant to that shit. Now, I didn't watch a full interview, so I don't know that
doesn't
segue.
matter.
I don't know
It
if it was
doesn't
like,
matter.
yo, I ain't gonna lie, we saw your freestyle, shit was amazing. But is that a wig or a wig? I don't know if it was that hard.
Right.
Or maybe they were just talking about fashion, whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know. Who
No.
knows?
Stick
But
to your first point. I like that
all
point.
I'm saying, see, that's just like, yo, hold it, nah.
Because he
nigga.
should have just been like, can I touch it? Shit is the
Nah,
worst.
nah, if he-
Can I
if he-
touch your hair?
Now if he'd have did that, that'd have been so wild.
Yo, there's a
wild if he did
movie
that.
that somebody was this white dude is married to this like black chick and they're like in the Congress or whatever and like the whole thing is about her hair. Like white people are mad fascinated about black people.
So fascinated.
But I think it's only out of bounds because he's white. And I'm sorry to my white people who watch this, but like
It's
when it
just
comes
one
to
of those
hair,
rules. There's no
him
disrespect,
rock,
no love
let him
lost.
rock.
Just don't. Don't ask to touch it. Stop asking questions. It's annoying.
But to be honest though, we can't be that offended. That's what I'm only saying.
No, but
like,
it's just weird for him to do that in that setting. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, like, I
asking.
thought that he would've
really
did
want
that
to know
off
that. That's
camera.
like if she had answered, what would his follow-up have been? What would the commentary have been? What was the point of the question?
Well, you know,
Malay-
white people, he's trying to
if he
figure out
would've- if he'd have
how
said-
the fuck did you get that there? Like, yo, he like, trust me.
No, imagine
Just
if she
like my
would've-
first questions, when someone explained to me what the fuck a lace front was, that they put some super glue on your forehead, they had duct tape and shit.
No, what would have
For
been
real, I was
funny
shocked.
is if
I
she
never
would have
know.
told him and he would have been like Malaysian or Brazilian. Like if he would have known like or
If he had some
he'd have known,
bundles
like-
on deck, that'd be
He's not
crazy.
you, Wayno. Wayno would have known. Tim Westwood definitely had no idea what the fuck.
Hey.
But I don't think she was offended though.
No, she wasn't. I don't
She
think
handled
was
it really well, I
offended.
think.
I don't think she was offended.
Yo,
Much business.
her and the City Girls is rapping about knowing the bank accounts and socials of niggas. Okay,
I get so offended
For
by
real
it.
though,
He's so,
we can't know
he's
this
so
on your head.
scared of being scammed.
No.
Yo, have
Yeah.
you been scammed before?
Yes, I'm a victim. I'm just saying.
No, but yo,
man.
Megan, I will say this, yo. When I was at Birthday Bash in Memphis and she came out, nah, she got it, yo.
She's so dope.
She got it. She got it, yo. Like I'm just like just her the way they love her is insane right now. It's super open for women in hip hop right now.
Ak is having a hot girl summer. He's
No,
just
right.
No.
scared to admit it.
No, like-
Hot girls
Act-
are losing. City Boys is completely winning. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You're a city boy?
He's a city boy.
Is that what you
City
just
Boys
said?
is winning. Like this is fact.
He started getting his nails done and shit. He's definitely a city boy. He started getting pedicures and
Yo,
shit.
you changed
Did you
it.
scam a woman out of
by the way,
doing that
I
for you?
want to point out because that's
What?
said it jokingly a couple times. There's nothing about Meg Thee Stallion that like intimidates. Actually, she does intimidate some people though. Did you guys see the meme where?
Well, her, because she's taller than the
Yeah,
other
she's
dude.
standing with a dude. The dude's probably like Lil Duval's height, like 4 foot.
Yeah, he's not that big.
You
Like,
get me?
she's tall, but she's like,
He's like 5'8", 5'10".
they blowing
like,
out
that's
of
not
proportion.
You get me? Like,
Yeah.
people are like, oh my God, she looks like
She's the stallion.
she's big and intimidating. I was like, no, she looks like she's growing. Where's she from? Texas?
Listen, you can say a
Ain't
lot of
everything bigger than
things.
Texas?
You can say a lot of things about Megan Thee Stallion as long as you say that she's dope. Because she's fucking dope.
Tom Wayno.
All
All right.
He
can
think
twerk, too.
everything- What?
She can twerk.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna end on a free Rocky note. So ASAP Rocky was arrested overseas. So he's in Sweden right now. So he's currently being held in solitary confinement after a street fight that went viral. According to TMZ, he's facing up to 6 years in prison, which seems a little bit ridiculous. So in the initial video, you see him talking to men about a pair of broken headphones. Then they apparently started following him, and things escalated from then. I don't want to get too deep into the details here, but Ferg posted a long caption on Instagram over the weekend, asking for prayers and support, saying basically he's locked up, he has no visiting or phone call privileges, that he is there for 2 weeks. So we are just hoping for an update soon and hopefully a positive update. Rocky, like whatever happened, of course, is gonna get amplified when you're a celebrity like that. Like he's one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet. Very chill, peaceful. You know, he's like not with this kind of bullshit. So hopefully he gets out very soon.
Yeah, and overseas, that's the thing.
It's
like,
scary.
Him being overseas, that's like he can't just like it's different. But I hope he could figure this shit out, because I can't imagine being abroad and you can't speak to anybody, or you know what I mean, people probably treating him crazy, and he's a celebrity, so he's not used to going through that. I mean, he's been locked up before, but like.
But solitary confinement overseas is next levels.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm praying for him. The situation, the whole thing seems weird, but of course, I think it's kind of weird to me because of probably the laws and also how they deal with people who aren't from whatever country it happened. I believe Sweden. Listen, this is just another reminder, man. Yo, y'all entertainers, stay ass in the United States, man. Like, listen, Rocky been in London like 2 months, bro. Let's keep it 100. Like,
He don't even live out there. I think he was living out there for a while.
Well, just remember, you ain't a citizen over there. That's one of my biggest fears, going to one of these other countries. And y'all think jails over here bad? Hell no, man. Listen, stay in the United States. There ain't nothing glamorous. Yo, we live in the best country. And I'm from Jamaica, but this is the best country. Kid you not. That's one of y'all know. Y'all bring y'all asses back here.
Thank you, Akademiks.
Look, they get a lot of money overseas. Just stay safe out there, that's all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be careful. You know when you're a rapper, they're always looking for some reason
Excuse
to...
me.
And I keep telling y'all, I won't go to no country where, like, at this point, where black ain't the majority. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like, I ain't even gonna give it a chance for no racism.
I don't know what he talking about today.
I won't give it a chance. I'm sorry.
What are you on? Anyway, free Rocky. We gotta go before access
Go to the
more wild
Caribbean.
shit. All right, we'll see you guys
As
here
long as you don't go to the Fire Festival.
tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yo, they got a new festival, dog. Some new horrific... We're gonna talk about it.
Okay, we'll see you guys here tomorrow on Everyday Show. Bye.